Hi, my name is Scott McLean from TranceMusicMastery.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to program the Valley of Dreams lead on the Access Virus TI. And let me go ahead and play the Zebra 2 version of this patch that Adam Sabo created. Okay, and this patch uses 3 oscillators, a filter, EQ, compressor, delay, and reverb. So let's go ahead and get started on this. I'm going to disable each of the modules except for oscillator 1. We'll start with that one. And I'm going to try to match the sound as it is now with the Access Virus. Okay, so the first thing we notice is the pitch of the virus is higher than that of Zebra 2. So if we go to Common, we can see Transpose, and we need to set that to -12. Okay, and let's go to the oscillator page now. Now if we look at the Zebra 2 patch, we can see that it's 11. It has the invert switch selected, which adds an inverted copy of the waveform, and with this phase pulse width setting of 11.5, we get that pulse width modulation sound. So I need to set something up similarly in the Virus TI, and what I'm going to do is set oscillator 1, set its waveform to pulse. And then I'm also going to set OSC1 to balance, set that so that we only hear oscillator 1. So now it sounds like this. The next thing that we want to do is add more voices. So we have 11 in the Zebra 2 version, and I'm going to set the unison to 8, which will give me 8 voices. And then I'll increase the detune until it matches the Zebra 2 sound. Okay, and one thing I want to do actually before detune is set the pulse width on OSC1. So we're going to narrow this pulse width. Go ahead and do that. And we also want to lower the volume level, so let's switch to the filter page, and I'll bring the volume level down to match Zebra 2. And let's go back to the OSC tab, and let's adjust the pulse width some more. Okay, so here I'm going to increase the detune amount and the pan spread. That will widen the sound. Okay, and I think it could be a little wider, so let's check that. Yeah, as I do the comparison, it sounds like the virus sits more in the center of the mix, and when I switch to the Zebra 2, it sounds like it moves out to the side, so that's an indicator that the virus is not as wide as Zebra 2 at this point. So let's continue to adjust this pan spread until they're about the same. Okay, I think that's pretty close. And could probably bump the detune up just a bit more, so let's check that. In fact, right now I'm going to just hold a key down as I adjust this detune amount. Okay, it's getting close. It's not quite exact, but I think that's fairly close. So I'm going to go to the next step, which would be to bring up OSC2, and that's also an 11 voice oscillator with the invert switch set, some detuning, pulse width, and volume and width at their default settings. So let's go ahead and match this sound. And for this I'm going to use Oscillator 2. I'm going to set it to a pulse wave and adjust its pulse width to match what Zebra 2 is sounding like. One thing we need to do is bring in the oscillator balance, set that to 0. That way both oscillator 1 and 2 can be heard. Okay, I think that's pretty close. I might adjust the detune here a bit. Let's try that, see if we can get this closer. Okay, it's getting close now. Okay, let's look at oscillator 3. This is a quad, inverted, with some pulse width and detuning, slight increase in volume and width at the default level. So let's go ahead and add oscillator 3 on the virus. I'm going to select pulse, and we're going to detune this somewhat. So let's go ahead and listen now, and I'll probably make volume adjustments as well. Okay, that's about it for the oscillators. Now we can look at the amplifier envelope. I'm going to bring the sustain level down. And notice I'm constantly tweaking the volume to keep it matched to whatever zebra is at the moment. So as I brought the sustain level down, I needed to compensate for that by bringing the volume level up so that it would match the Zebra 2 volume level. Okay, I think that's pretty close. Now we can look at the filter. So this is a low pass mid-drive. That's a 24 dB per octave slope. Cutoff's all the way at maximum, so this filter is really not being used other than just to roll off some of the very high end. It does have an envelope modulation applied to it, which would come into effect if we brought the cutoff down. So I could demonstrate that. So what I'll do is I'll bring cutoff down a bit. And then we'll try to match it with the settings on the virus. Now because that's a 24 dB per octave slope, right now we have two 12 dB per octave filters in serial, okay? So we are using both filters, which gives us an effective 24 dB per octave slope. And our cutoffs are linked, so if we move this cutoff, this one moves as well. And this is an offset value, so right now it's at +0, so it's at the same, it ends up being at the same level that this filter cutoff is at. So let me try to zero in on this sound. Okay, that's pretty close, and now just to tweak the envelope. I'm going to apply envelope modulation to the cutoff frequency. Okay, that's probably pretty close, and we're pretty much using the filter with the cutoff frequency all the way up. So let's hear how this sounds. And then make the corresponding change on Zebra 2. And there is some tonality differences, and I'm probably going to be able to address those with the EQ settings. Okay, now let's go ahead and look at EQ. So the Zebra 2 is brighter, so let's go ahead and address that. And I'm also going to adjust the low and mid. Okay, sounds similar. Now let's go to the delay. Well, in fact, the compressor. We don't really have a compressor on the Virus, so I'm just going to skip that. And what we'll do is we'll just try to make this sound as close as we can without that. So with the delay, we've got a 1/4, 1/4 with this ratio at 50, so that makes it a 1/8, 1/4, which is in effect a 2-to-1 ratio. So we can use a simple delay or ping pong 2-to-1 on quarter notes. So that was the Zebra. So let's listen how long the delay lasts. About 7 hits, 7 repeats. So let's try that with the Access Virus. Okay, that sounds pretty close. And finally, let's go ahead and add a reverb. This is a fairly large size reverb with some very slight dampening. So let's hear how this sounds. In fact, I'm going to disable the delay for a moment. So now I will try to match that reverb sound. The Zebra 2 reverb sounds brighter, so we can adjust that on Access Virus. We can brighten that up by increasing this color value. Okay, that's pretty close. So now let's listen to the delay and the reverb together. First, the Zebra 2 version. And now the Virus version. Okay, and let's listen to the sequence. One more time. and the Zebra 2 version. And the virus version is slightly louder. Let me tweak that. Okay, I think they're both about the same loudness level now. So very similar patch, and play it one more time, and that's it for this video. Okay, I will see you in the next video.